Hi guys, Mrs. Langless here. Welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful vacation and Happy New Year. I'm excited to get back into remote art with you. Before we left, we were working a lot on shading and how to make things look more realistic. And we are going to continue using a different technique for how to make things look more realistic. So for, I don't know, the next several weeks, we are going to be working on something called one-point perspective drawing. So this is an example of where we are headed. And I'm going to show you how we are going to get there. So we're going to create this kind of realistic looking landscape that looks like there is sort of space in it. Now, when I say space, I don't mean like outer space. I mean like things are closer to you and then things are farther away, like space in that way. So we're going to be working on perspective drawing. And in particular, we're going to be working on something called one-point perspective drawing. And it's all about, again, creating the illusion of space, because we know that when we're working on a flat piece of paper, but we want to create the illusion for the viewer that there's actually a three-dimensional world, that there's space in our artwork, where things are closer to you and things are farther away, so that it looks more realistic. So here's what you're going to need. You are going to need a piece of paper, and I'm going to hold mine the long way, and you really can use any paper for this. It doesn't have to be your project paper, by the way, so that you can save that for when we're working with another material, maybe paint or something like that. So drawing a one-point perspective landscape. So the first thing you're going to do is we're going to create a horizon line, and this won't probably be visible in the end. You just want to go kind of like lightly. Okay, so I'm just kind of creating a line across my paper. It does not need to be straight, by the way, for all you perfectionists out there. Please don't use a ruler. Really will not matter. Now I want you to pick a point toward the middle and just make a little dot. This right here is going to be considered our vanishing point. It is the one point in the one-point perspective drawing that we're doing. So whenever you hear one-point perspective, that point that they're talking about is the vanishing point. So the vanishing point is where all of our lines are going to move toward, okay? So it's really going to guide our entire drawing. So I made that little dot to show you where the vanishing point is. And next, we're going to draw two lines for our road. So I'm just going to start right here, and I'm going to kind of make a line that comes out. It will end up almost looking like kind of like a triangle. Okay, so I'm just going to make it get wider. And I don't know if you've ever, been on a drive before and noticed this, where the road looks like it's really far away, and then the road gets longer as it gets towards you and looks like a triangle. So there's my road so far. Now I'm just going to add the center road strip. So just very lightly, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a turn here. And again, it's going to get wider, wider, wider as it gets closer to me, okay? Not because it's actually a different size than here, but because it appears to be that way. Remember, it's all an illusion. So again, I can come back to this and fix anything that I want to later, so I'm not going to get too hung up on the details at this point. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to draw two large trees right here in the foreground. So the foreground is the place that's closest to us, if you remember from when we were working on landscape. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to make like pine trees, okay? So that for me is easier to draw. It's a little bit quicker than the other type of trees. So basically I just create a little bit of a zigzag, and there's my tree. This one's going off the edge of the paper. It's nice and tall. I know I'm not going to see the horizon line through it, so I can erase that, okay? Now I'm going to make another one over here. So I'm just going to start with the trunk and make another one. Maybe it starts right here. And again, I just keep my lines really loose. Look, they're all zigzaggy and they're going off the edge of the paper. Not ultra realistic. I'm just kind of making things work. All right, so there's two trees. Hope you guys can see them. Good. All right, so next I'm gonna make another tree, but this time it's going to be overlapped by this tree that's in front of it, and it's also going to start to get a little bit shorter. So I'm going to come down maybe right about here, and again, I should have probably started with my tree trunk. I'll make one now. So there's my tree trunk, and there's my tree. Now I can make another one over here. Again, it's going to be overlapped by that last one that I made. There's my tree trunk, and there's that. Okay, next, I'm going to keep on going. I am going to now add some more trees beyond this. And because they're getting further away, they will appear to be smaller. Okay, so I'm going to keep on going. Tree trunk. There is my tree. Maybe make another one over here. A lot of times what I try to do is I try to not make them look exactly alike because, you know, no two things in nature are typically exactly alike. So you want to make sure that you give it a little bit of variety to make it look more real. And I'm just going to keep on doing this. So I'm going to keep on adding this one. Maybe I'll make right here. And again, I'm keeping it pretty sketchy and loose. I'm not too terribly worried about it looking ultra realistic. We're going to talk more about color later, and that's where it will get a little bit more real looking. Okay, there's that. Now I can continue to add trees in between here, okay, to make it look like more of a forest if I want to. Now, a lot of times when you get in here, you'll just want to do, you know, just the tree top. So that becomes a little bit easier. Maybe there's another tree right here. Maybe there's another one in this area right here. And again, you wouldn't see the horizon line, so just make sure that you're also erasing those, okay? Now, once you get to that point, I'm gonna add some mountains. So I'm gonna start over here, and I like to be very, you know, sketchy about these lines, just kind of let them happen. I try to not really do perfect triangles because that's not what mountains really look like. So there's my mountains. Okay, so I went on either side of the road there, just so you know, either side of the vanishing point. Then I can add in, you know, if you want, some little snow-capped areas. Gives it kind of like a nice detail. Might not be the same on all of them. There you go. Next, if you want, you can add in some clouds. I like to make these clouds that sort of have flat bottoms and then the tops are a little bit rough. So there's my bottom and there's my other cloud. I'm gonna make one, you know, that kind of goes off the edge of the paper here to make it more interesting. And I usually stick to odd numbers and do about 3. If you want to add more, you can. All right, now, if I want, I can come back and add more things in here if I want. More trees to make it look more like a forest, but basically what I've created here is a drawing that looks like it's all moving toward the vanishing point. It is a 1-point perspective landscape. Now, next, if you'd like, again, optional, you don't have to do this. If you'd like, you can go ahead and trace your lines with a Sharpie just to make them stand out. I don't always like to do that, but on this one I did. I really wanted you to be able to see it. So this is as far as we're going to go on today's project. And then next week, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about coloring this. And then we will be moving on from there. So good luck with your 1-point perspective landscapes. I think they're pretty cool. Just a nice quick drawing exercise to show how the vanishing point works to get us ready for what comes next. All right, hope you're all doing well. Take care. Bye-bye.